Alrighty. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. Um, I'm going to be doing Nathaniel Holmes today. We're going to be working on him and see what comes about. Uh, he went missing on December 19th, 2017. That was 8 years ago. He was 17 years old then. He's now 25 years old. If he's still um, alive. And what happened was in 2017, there was he just, from what we're gathering, disappeared, kind of like just walked off. He might have started off just as a runaway. So I picked up this information. I actually found a new channel called Kendall Ray, Kendall, Ray, Rae. She's another crime podcaster, crime videoer. So, feel free, go look at her. I was impressed. This was the first and only video I've watched so far. And I was like, wow. I've never heard of Nathaniel Holmes, and that's the sad part. So many kids go without even being known. It's not, like others for some reason. Anyways, let's get down to it real quick. Um, he walked off from Hidden Lake School. He was 17 years old. Um, I did look for a pic. That's my thumbnail, but there's no like sketch of an updated pic where he's 25 now, right? All my contact information for the police and everything will be in the description box. So if anyone knows any information, please call and let them know. He went missing Westminster, Colorado from the school and last seen on December 19th, 2017. He has a noticeable mark, a mole on lower cheek, and a scar on his abdomen. Blue eyes, blonde hair, 5 feet 9 inches. All right. Now, at the time of this situation, things happened prior that we think, I think, led up to him just saying enough and walking away. There was a minor car accident he was in, and so his dad took his car privileges away, which is normal, and also something about his cell phone was broken, so he was out of a cell phone. Remember, at the time this happened, he was 17 years old. Those two things are like really important to 17-year-olds. Not any fault of his parents, of course. That's normal for his parents to stop him from driving if there was a accident, and things like that for a while. And I believe his dad even said he would be getting him a new phone, soon or whatever. But this happened when he had no cell phone. Anyways, he went to school one day after his mother had found pills that he had because he was acting weird. And earlier that day, his dad picked him up from school and noticed his behavior was off. And he did admit to doing pot and Xanax at school. Claimed it was his first time and that he would never do it again. But his dad works third shift, so he called his mom because they separated when Nathaniel was 8 years old. And his mom said that she would watch him for the night, at which point she noticed his behavior was off, checked a few things, found these pills. He got freaked out and said, "No, they belong to someone. Don't take them. I need to give them back." And, she didn't, of course. And so he seemed scared that they would be hurt, he would be hurt, whatever. And then the next day he goes to school. He was in the hallway trying to wave to a friend of his, Anthony, to get Anthony out in the hall because Anthony was in class already. I'm kind of assuming this is first thing in the morning because he was in the hallway trying to, and so he didn't go to class, but Anthony was already in class. The principal came by at Hidden Lakes School, which he only transferred to 5 weeks prior. Okay. And said, "You need to get to class. You can talk to Anthony later." He told the principal, "No, I don't need to go to class because I'm transferring schools again." Okay. And he walked out of the school. And later on, of course, his mom said there was never any plans for that, his mom and dad, right? So apparently, when he left school, he went to a park and called his mom off someone else's cell phone. Some woman, I guess, was in the park and called his mom and said, "You don't need to pick me up after school. Dad's friend, Michelle from work, is going to do it." And she said, "Well, I'll verify that." And he said, "Okay, thank you and love you." And that was it, hung up. She called Michelle, no plans whatsoever. So she drives to the school, waits outside, just assuming he's still in the school, thinking he borrowed some friend's phone from school. And when everyone comes out, of course, he's not coming out. She goes in, and that's when she's notified that what happened. He left earlier because he said you guys are transferring him. So there was a few hours of him missing. Now, there was some question from a guy named Jake, a friend of his, who claimed that the parents didn't know how severe his drug usage was. Of course, we don't have Nathaniel to back that up. But this friend Jake, who did drugs with him, apparently, both of them, he said, it was more serious. He threw out the word cocaine. I have kind of question on that because the parents seem to be on top of noticing everything about him, and he's got 2 sisters too, so I'm sure the sisters they were like that with the sisters too. I do not believe the family has any, foul play in this. They didn't do anything. They're actually seeking him, wanting him to at least contact, if not just come home. But this Jake dude, and I'm not saying he's lying, I'm just saying what's coming out of his mouth apparently, was that he was more serious into drugs, that the friends brought Nathaniel the drugs. He never met the drug dealer. Uh, but then later on said that he thinks 5 months later after his missing, contacted them and said that he thinks, or contacted the Westminster PD and said he thinks he saw Nathaniel go into a neighbor's apartment, which is an actual drug dealer, according to Jake, and yet the cops couldn't verify one way or the other, you know? So if he never met the drug dealer, how would he know that's a drug dealer? And 5 months down the road after he was missing, why would he go to the drug dealers? It just something there does not add up. Of course, we don't know the full background story because we're hearing this and that, right? We don't have Nathaniel to say confirm or deny. Um, and from there, we have like 2 sightings. Whoops, the card was here. That was weird. We had 2 sightings. One in March 2021. Tip came in, possible sighting in Gallup, New Mexico. Truck driver stopped by a man, asked how long to get to California, seemed to be very under the influence or mental break. She told him he should go back home. He said, "Can't. I got people looking for me." Meaning he was told basically the way, you know, Jake came out and said he wonders if he stole from a drug dealer, which means they would be after him. And that's before this tip came out, right? But again, Jake, you're the one that says he never went to the dealer, or some friend told them he never met the dealer. Only the friends brought him the drugs. So how would he steal from a dealer? I don't understand that part. Someone could have put in his mind, which I think is what happened, that, someone's out to get him, because I do think something like that happened, and we'll get into that later. But either your friends gave him the drugs, or you know for a fact that you hooked him up with a dealer somewhere along the line and you don't want to play that game. But I'm not accusing you. I'm saying there's certain things that just don't add up. Okay. So this trucker said, that he was either on the influence or mental break, and she told him he should go back home. He said, "I got people looking for me. I can't." And that I'm from Colorado. She asked his name and he said Nate Holmes. Then he walked away. So then she went home and Googled the name and saw a missing person flyer, called the PD in Gallup, New Mexico, and they did a search area. They did search the area, but didn't find anything. So could it be him? Um, I don't see why a trucker would just out of the blue give this information and be lying. I just don't know. Or why some total stranger would use Nate Holmes' name. I don't know. And when she looked up the missing flyer thing, she apparently, I'm sure, said, "Oh my God, that's the guy I was talking to." Right? But then there's another possible tip. A couple of months later, in September 2021, Oceanside, California, which is interesting because the trucker said he was looking to get to California. A guy asked this woman to borrow her phone. He seems to be borrowing the phones a lot. By this time, he hasn't even gotten his own cell or a burner or anything, showing he doesn't have much money, right? Um, he went on Facebook, looked at the page of himself being searched for, then went on Ben's page. Ben is his dad, Facebook page. And she said it looked enough like him. She called it in. Now, from that point, the dad heard about it, jumps in a plane to find him. And apparently, at that point in time, the woman like ghosted him. She didn't show up for him. She didn't meet with him. She didn't talk with him. But who knows? They could have by this time. I don't know. Could it be real or could someone have just thought it was him? Also, none of his things were taken. Like all his clothes, his bank account was never touched, apparently. Um, he just walked away from school, and that was it. Now, what I've been getting is that he was very depressed. And because he did toy with drugs, I hate putting it that way, but I don't think he was in as deep. I mean, he could have been, but I really do believe the parents would have noticed it before the 17th, really. Um, but I also feel like there was a break going on within his mind. So someone was able to coerce him to believe that there was more danger, that there could have been a chance of danger. The thing I'm getting from him is all that he wanted to protect, not just himself, but highly his sisters. When they divorced the mom and dad when he was 8 years old, I believe Kendall Ray actually said something like, he wanted to be the helper, the supporter, the mediator, you know what I mean? And, like a lot of brothers wanna protect their sisters, whether they're younger brother, older brother, whatever. If you only have sisters, you tend to feel like you're the protector, you know what I mean? And if someone did get in his mind a little inkling that, "Hey, if you don't pay so and so back, or if you do anything," somehow it was interpreted they would be held to pay, right? But then his own mind took flight with that. And I really believe there was onset of a mental illness where it was never shown before, as far as I know, as far as I can pick up. But I think I'm picking up like schizophrenia and where your own mind kind of collapses within and you start thinking 100 times worse than the situation really is. I believe that's schizophrenia and also talking within yourself conflict. You know what I mean? One day he wants to reach out and say, "I'm okay, here I am, blah, blah, blah." And the next day, or within moments after that, he bangs his own head thinking, "What am I nuts? They're going to die." And yet that will not happen. They will not be killed. But in his mind, or he will not be killed. And it's been, you know, 8 years. So even at 17 with an impressionable mind, by 25, you would normally think if that was a situation back then, I could at least reach out to dad or mom, tell them keep it quiet and that I'm okay. All right. But his mind is like, it is like a mental break. It is like a trauma within, and he's having a hard time. You know what I mean? And he also feels like a big failure, a lot of shame. And it might be shame over the years of being out there doing whatever you need to do just to get a scrap of money. You know what I mean? And he shouldn't, but he does. So let's see what the cards have to say about Nathaniel. And of course, you guys know I took up past, present, future, everything I'm about to say now. And my own comment on that is alleged. And now it's my opinion, reading the cards the best I can, interpreting spirit in the most discerned way I possibly can. I am not a cop. These are not facts. But let's see what's going on with Nathaniel. Why did he leave? Let's see what's going on. Oh, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I also do think that there was a female, I don't know if before or now, but they're a romantic partner that the family might not even known about. But of course, if it's after, they wouldn't know about it. Um, so here he is, Paige. Thought about doing something. Someone did. There's an emperor here. Someone who, well, he thought had more power. I don't think he really had that much power, but he was filling him with some information that wasn't true. This emperor. Also, I see the emperor as his dad. Two different things. I'll get that in cards. One card could mean several multiple things. You know what I mean? But in this, his dad is actually looking, waiting, hoping, praying. His mom is too, but I pick up his dad a lot. I'm picking up his dad's energy a lot, and his dad's stuck. Okay, but also him. Someone did misinform him, but he thinks they have more power. All right, the emperor is most powerful. All right, authoritarian. But see, what I'm trying to explain is in Nathaniel's mind, at the time this happened, what this person said was very impressionable to him. Okay, impressionable, powerful in his own mind, and he made it seem like so much more than what it really was. Okay, and he felt stuck. He felt like his back was against the wall. And there was a swift decision, 8 of Wands, swift movement. He decided the only thing he could do was get out of town, get away, save his family. Hidden things, the moon. He did it quietly and with himself. He left on his own. I mean, someone might have guided him, like go to California or whatever, you know what I mean? But he went on his own. He was like the hermit leaving, you know what I mean? I'm doing this for the best interest of everyone in his mind. All right. Queen of Wands and the Knight of Cups. This was an emotional time. Like I said, there might have been someone that there was a breakup. If there was a girl at all or a romantic partner, there was a silent breakup maybe because I don't think the parents even knew, but there was heartbreak. But this whole decision going was emotional. He definitely felt like he didn't think straight with the mind, in other words, and I don't know if he was able to because this onset of what I get of a mental illness. But he, in his mind, at that point in time, this is the only thing I can do to save me, my family, stop being a failure. In his mind, he thought he was nothing but a failure. He was depressed over that. He had some self-loathing, and I don't know why, because, like I said, his family wasn't like abusive or um as far as I'm picking up, not even verbally abusive. Yeah, you did wrong, and we're going to talk about it because this has to stop. You know what I mean? But from all I'm picking up, the family was dealing with finding out their son's on drugs. What else do you do? The family dealt with there's was a little accident. There was an accident. You were behind the wheel. I didn't see anything about like under the influence, but hey, we're going to talk about it before you go behind the wheel before again. You know what I mean? I think there's at least one, if not more, frenemy, someone who portrayed a friend to him, led him to believe certain things. Of course, he did, and it impacted him even more so because of this onset. Now, could he been doing drugs like this Jake guy threw out the cocaine word, where that inflicted even more this illness that was coming in? Yeah, could have been. But either way, it was more hype than truth of what he believed. Now, at 25, you would think he would realize that by now, or at least say, "Let me just call dad, tell him don't tell anyone anything, but I'm okay. I don't want anyone hurt. This is it." And his dad would take a second and fly right the hell out there and say, "Let me just sit with you. We won't say anything. I'm coming right out. Meet me here, or you tell me where to meet you, you and me, and just so I can see you and help you in any way I can, even if it's just financially." Right? But for some reason, this illness, this it's like an inner shock, a trauma, something he keeps replaying as in he can't do it. I was too much of a failure. This is the only way to protect this person or myself. This is the only thing to do. And even if he had that thought midway, it's like now he feels shame from whatever he did on on the road because he's trying to live and survive. Though I do think most of the time he was on his own. He tried to keep separate, like a but street people help street people, or at least give them advice that maybe not is good advice, right? So let's see what lies beneath. Oh, don't want to hear it. It's almost like he left too because he didn't want to hear the truth right before him. That listen, there's some things we need to talk. Why is this screwing up? Why is this? He was closing off emotionally and mentally. Oh, wait a minute. There's something here. Bad choices, which he made on the road, not just before, but those bad choices weren't, it was blown up by someone, but not his family. Okay. What's going on with him now since we kind of know the basis of that? What's going on with Nathaniel? Sexual protection. See, on the street, and I'm not saying he is or he did, but no matter who you are, you survive, right? And maybe he had to do some certain things that he feels I can never face my family, though the family wouldn't be like that. I really pick up this family would be like, it doesn't matter what you did, man. Come home. We just need you home, or let me come meet you and we can talk this all through. No judgment. I really don't believe. I mean, I think in his mind, he feels like the hammer may come down, but the family will not put the hammer down. The family is just like, I just want to hug you, man. I just want you home. I want to know you're alive. Right? What's going on with this, Daniel? Yeah, I hate nothing about you, right? They don't carry any harbor any bad things towards him at all. They just want him. They hate nothing about him. And I think that might be a two-way message where he's actually, he doesn't hate his family whatsoever. What he did in his mind was admirable, to leave and make sure no more problems arose from whatever someone was telling him. And again, that whoever told him that might have just said, "Hey, just so you know, don't piss this person off. They might get really upset." But in his mind, he might have thought he pissed this person off to the point that there's no return, right? So who knows? Mm. Investigating. I know his father's been out there jumping and going wherever there's a sighting. There, cops may be investigating something right now. I'm not sure. Again, I pick up past, present, future, you guys. It's been 8 years. What's going on with Nathaniel presently? Yeah, I'm running away. He did run away. Someone's investigating the running away. He feels like he's still got to run. He's still got to stay. He goes back and forth. Like I said, I think I might be naming it wrong, but I think it's schizophrenia where you're battling your own mind. You're hearing things within. You got the devil and the angel literally on your shoulder, and within 2 seconds, your mind is changing. Something like that. Okay, we got. Ooh. Okay. All right. So we got red lipstick stains. So there is a female. There could be a female in his life right now because there's tantric sex too. He's 25 years old. He feels insecure about doing anything to bring the family and him together. And there's been gossip. I'm sure there has the beginning of this whole thing 8 years ago. There was probably a lot of gossip and crap going on, but there isn't now, I don't believe. I mean, I'm sure there's murmurs, but he feels like he's keeping a promise to never like harm his family, put his family in danger. It's really too bad because this, I do believe the mental illness has taken a toll on him, as in being able to just pick up a phone and call. Like one day he'd like to do that, and then moments later he's like, no. He doesn't have the understanding, like his mind at 25, should be saying you can just call your dad and nobody in the world will know. But in his mind, somehow someone's gonna know. And then trouble's gonna hit because he still feels there's trouble, or at least within this 8-year time period he did. And again, he may reach out, but we never need to hear about it, do we? As long as his family gets a reach out, right? His family, that could be exactly what may happen. Um, at one point, he may actually finally be able to call and say, just don't tell anyone. And then his dad could try and figure out things with him. Yeah, he felt okay. I'm picking organized crime as drugs, right? Not that it was a major organized crime thing. It was drugs, dealings, and stuff like that. He felt trapped from a situation that arose. So he got out. Um, he left. That's aliens. There weren't aliens, obviously, but he left because he felt everything I was saying that there's no way my family's going to get harmed. I'm going to get harmed. How could I do this? How could I cause this? Why? And along with everything else. Yeah. He lives anywhere from tunnels, under bridges, wherever, into motels when he gets some money, or maybe a friend that offers. Ooh, ooh, hold on. Let me pull a few more cards. Hold on. Okay, whoop. So I do think there's gonna be a time of healing. He might actually get hurt somehow and he has to go in the hospital. There's a meeting that takes place. Actually, I'm thinking someone either tries to steal from him, or unfortunately he does what he feels he needs to do to get money. There is a meeting that takes place, and it's very emotional, very, very emotional. And I see beach. He could still be in California. I don't know. It's an emotional healing. He might go into eventually. See, if he goes in the hospital, I don't think hospitals flag missing persons. I think he'll just give his name and that'll be it. I don't know how hospitals do it. If they do flag him, then they'll know. But I believe he may actually end up at some point in like a counseling session. He could be going counseling right now and getting emotional healing, mental healing. They have like out clinics and stuff, don't they? But there's something about money, and I think it's like someone did something too, and he got a little physical hurt. It could be the way he behaved too, and he's being offered this. I don't know, but it's not going. I don't see it going into the legal system. Like he has to go to court over it for some reason. All right. So there's going to be a situation where maybe he has a fight with someone over money or whatever, and they're both told, especially if it's like a homeless shelter situation, the head of the homeless shelter may say, you two have to sit here and meet with me, and I want to see you guys weekly, and we have this group going on. It could be something like that, and he's getting healing that way, right? More and more of his story is coming out. All right. But the biggest thing is there needs to be communication. I do not see any death cards here. I don't feel death, of course, past, present, future with me, people. It was an emotional time for him. His brain was breaking, a mental break, along with some drugs that activated it, maybe, or something, or caused it to be more extreme. I think if it is, I could be wrong about it being schizophrenia. It could be something like that. Um, but it closed him off. It made him feel like he's like this big and that he put caused jeopardy and problems and he was a burden unto his family. And the only thing he got in his mind was just go, start new, and everyone will be safe. He didn't think about getting money from his account. He didn't think it was just quick, boom, I'm done. This is what I'm going to do. Let's just hope that there is some communication. This is card of hope to end with. All right. And we got Hawk come straight out. Spirituality. Fly above and beyond your day-to-day thoughts to observe them from a bird's eye view. Quieting the mind and detaching from your thought patterns puts you in a better position to take in messages from your spirit guides. You could be on a spiritual path right now. I mean, self healing covers emotion, spiritual, within, healing from within. Um, Kind of like his own little self quest. But if he continues doing this, being the hawk, he will surely reach out to his family. Let me pull one more. I feel like I gotta pull one more here. Okay, Raven, confidence. Yeah, I think he's meeting. He's got like a counselor, which also, I'm trying to pull healing, counseling, maybe group counseling to one-on-one counseling, which just had it, guys. Where did it go? Oh, which would bring out spiritual knowing of yourself, growth, and everything else. Raven, confidence. You are encouraged to disconnect from the physical or materialistic plane and move to the spiritual realm. Again, spiritual. You have a deep spiritual connection which you mustn't ignore. You are on the brink of transformation and your divine purpose may be revealing itself. So, if he truly follows this energy, he will reach out to his family. If he's on a spiritual quest for himself, you know, maybe he's at one of those spiritual healing places. Maybe he's with a group of people that are more spiritual and teaching him how, to have confidence with himself and to overcome any obstacles within his way. And one of those obstacles is fearing that harm will come to him or his family if he reach out to his family, right? So let's hope he does reach out, that they get some word of solid evidence. Not saying that those witnesses didn't see him or anything, but more of a knowing. And who knows, he might reach out and we'll never know because that could be a guarantee from his family, which that's them. That they have every right not, to keep it quiet so that he feels secure to keep contacting them. All right. So I hope this helps everyone. Love and light and take care.